Coping. This is dealing with something difficult effectively, or if you're looking at it from a mechanical or systematic standpoint, having the capacity to deal with something successfully. At least that is what the Oxford Dictionary tells us. Now, most of the time when it comes to coping, especially with something on the internet, it's trying to cope with the fact that you'll never become something successful. Like if you're saying that you're good at something, but there's evidence to back it up that you're not good at something, then you're coping with the fact that you're a failure or just a loser. That isn't the case of Darkside Phil, but every single time that he does something, he's always finding a way to cope with things, sipping on his Coca-Cola while taking a trip to Copacabana. And then becoming the king of suffering as well as the king of copium.
So yesterday's streams, how did they go? Well, first of all, on the first stream, it was my second ever session of Armored Core 6.
Which was incredibly terrible. I mean, my god. The end of Chapter 1's boss, he was having difficulties.
Now, we had already talked about this a few days ago. That when I played Armored Core 6 on Friday as a premiere stream, I actually enjoyed it. Did I have some difficulty with the first boss? Yes, I did.
Yeah, but yet you were coping with the fact that you're better than everyone else, and you were complaining that From Software fucked up yet again.
Because I, on the fly, had to learn some gameplay mechanics.
No. He did not learn this on the fly. When it comes to evasive aerial maneuvers, the game had to tell him to do so. The game was telling him what the fuck to do. But Phil looks at it and goes, oh, I've learned this on the fly, because he has to be held through the entire thing with it. Like a child at the grocery store needs his hand held through just about everything.
On how to dodge and move and maneuver.
Again, the game told him this, but yet he somehow calls it on the fly.
And once I did that, I was able to adjust, and I was able to beat the boss. It took...
Yeah, you were able to beat the boss, but it wasn't fun.
You know, a few tries, maybe like a half an hour of trying this boss, but I beat him.
It took you more than just half an hour.
Like, alright, for a FromSoft game, that's not so bad. That's kind of what I'm used to for FromSoft.
But you were bitching and complaining that FromSoft doesn't know anything about making a boss or just telling a story. And you kept saying that the camera kept fucking you, even though it's your dumbass fault.
Not any shocking twist that the boss would be difficult and you have to learn gameplay mechanics on the fly or anything like that, right? So
even though the game tells you at the beginning, hey, this is what you're supposed to do. This is how you're supposed to progress. This is how you're supposed to control the game. But Phil right there says that, oh, the game tells you how to do it on the fly. Even though he said that he had to learn it on the fly. Right.
So then, continuing on, I started customizing my mech, changing the colors, changing the build, and I did many different missions. And
the colors don't do jack shit. It just makes it look pretty. And the build of it, it's all based on how you play. Some people like to take it easy with it, or some people want to be aggressive and quick. Which in your case, you're never aggressive and quick. You just cower like a little pussy.
I was having a good time. There was actually a boss that I think would have been tough if I didn't have a certain weapon, but I kind of lucked out into having the correct weapon.
No. You didn't luck out, Phil. You looked up at a guide of how to do it. That's a theory that's going around, which in fact, I'm actually inclined to believe it. Is that you looked up a guide of what weapons are best for what. And that's how you're able to beat the boss after you're trying so hard.
And I beat the boss, and I was like, all right. So 3 hours in, I really like this game.
No, you don't. You were incredibly bored with it, and you were kept looking over at your chat, hoping that someone would give you money. Which some people did, sadly. But at the same time, you didn't care about it. You were just wanting the game to be over. Or your shift to be over for that game.
I don't get why people were all abuzz about it, why people on the internet are so crazy about it.
Because, A, it's been a while since there was an Armored Core game. Trust me, I know a lot of people that love the Armored Core series, and they were baffled and surprised that there was going to be another Armored Core game, so that's one. And two, it's a mech game, Phil. People like to destroy shit with mechs.
And then what happens is, you see a complete shift of attitude. People have been campaigning for me to play Armored Core 6.
No, Phil, it was just one guy that gave it to you.
They said they absolutely wanted me to play it, that it's a FromSoft game I cannot miss, right?
No, it was just one guy that gave it to you, and you said, no, you weren't going to play it until someone gave it to you, and you're like, oh, I guess I'll play it.
Right? But now that I played it for 3 hours and I've enjoyed it, no one cares.
Because that's not their kind of game to get into, Phil. It happens quite a lot. If someone plays a game that they're not into, they dip. Or they stick around because they like watching the person playing the game. That's the issue here, Phil. It's that they don't like it when you're playing games because you're not entertaining. You provide no quality of entertainment for these people. And then they dip, and you're wondering that if it's you or the game, but you immediately go straight to the game anyway.
Why? Because the people who primarily, not everyone, this is a generalization, so understand this is not every person.
Even though he generalizes everybody.
But a lot of people who were campaigning to see me play Armored Core 6 were my hate watchers.
Nah, I didn't tell you to play Armored Core 6. I actually didn't give a shit if you were playing Armored Core 6. Until I saw you play Armored Core 6, and my god, it is bad.
Okay? These are people who only watch my content because they like to see me fail and suffer.
That's your opinion on that, Phil. That is you. You're generalizing everybody that watches you to watch you fail and hate the game for something. But then again, that's what you were primarily known for back in the day, to rage at a game that was entirely your fault, but you're saying that that was an act trying to blame the game for something that was clearly your fault.
They're shitheads, okay?
Well, Phil, you don't have to tell yourself that. That's what you are.
There's some enjoyment in watching someone fail. I'll totally admit that.
Uh-huh. So, you're admitting to failure, but you had a but to this, but nothing good comes in a sentence or with anything if there's a but in the sentence.
But if your entire focus on the internet is someone failing, trying to laugh at someone else's misfortunes, you are a fucked up human.
I'm sorry. Huh? Look at the people that make the content of them raging. Look at Michael from Achievement Hunter when Rooster Teeth was still popular. He had a series called Rage Quit, where he would be mad at the game, scream to the top of his lungs that the game sucked and that the game wasn't good enough, and that made him popular. That made a lot of videos and a lot of money from that. But you're looking at going, oh, you want people that watch content to see them fail are fucked up. Phil, here's the thing. Failure is a teacher. If you failed at something, that should teach you to be better, to show you how to improve in life, to improve at anything that you put your mind to. But you're not looking at how a failure could be a positive. Instead, you're looking at the failure and going, other people watch me fail. They're fucking pathetic.
And you really should reassess yourself with a professional help. But
well, here we go again. The white coats are coming to get me.
That's how some of these people are. There's a large group of thousands of people on the internet who this is what they focus on. So because I played Armored Core 6 on Friday and I actually enjoyed it rather than raged at it and failed at it, they didn't like that at all.
No. You're generalizing what they're doing. Again, yet you're saying that you're not generalizing people, but you clearly are. I just love the fact that you try to deny generalization while generalizing people.
So the whole narrative changes. Instead of Darkside Phil must keep playing Armored Core 6 because he's going to fail in rage, it's, oh, well, fuck that then, forget it. Right?
No, you're not right. There are times where people have seen you play Final Fantasy 16, they saw you weren't having fun with it, they told you to stop playing it, and this wasn't from your hate watchers, this is from your actual fucking audience, your fans, telling you to stop playing it due to the fact that you weren't having fun with it, and you immediately yelled at them, saying, oh, they're just fucking detractors, they're telling me to stop playing it, but I'm going to keep playing it, but it's clear to say that you were not having fun with it. That's the same thing with Armored Core 6.
No views on the videos, no talk about it, nothing, right? Now, what ended up happening was after I talked about that on my podcast the other day, there was a group of people who were not like that, all right? And they actually genuinely did want to see me play the game and enjoy it because it's a new franchise that I've never touched before.
Even though you're excited to play it and you're hyping it up like you did play it before.
There's been many of these long-standing franchises that I've never experienced, and this is just an example of one of them. And now seeing me actually get hands-on experience with the game, over the course of the weekend, people started to say, oh, this is kind of interesting. I actually want to see Phil continue because he's actually seeming to like it now.
No, not a lot of people were saying that, Phil. Not a lot of people were wanting you to continue playing it. Instead, they're wanting other games to be played. But keep deluding yourself to believing that that's what people wanted.
So, what ended up happening was, even though the hate watchers were so butthurt that I liked the game, a few other people actually started to enjoy the content.
Did not happen. No one was butthurt that you were enjoying a game. In quotes, enjoying it. Instead, you're going to sit there believing that we're pissed off that you were liking the game. How dare he like a game? But we all know really what it was, Phil. You weren't making enough money, but as soon as you were making money, then you started enjoying the game. My God, money really can change someone, can it?
Okay? And so yesterday, my second session ever, all right? As I played it, all right, I tried a new build. I was trying the tetrapod build, which is the four-legged build where you can hover.
Yeah, thanks for explaining what that is, Phil. I probably wouldn't have known that because I'm mentally inept to do so.
Dude, it's so good. The hovering makes the game so different, but also so much better. The hovering and strafing gunplay, and then being able to just dodge in the air, makes so many things not as dangerous. You know, area of effect attacks, they don't really affect you because they
But they could still shoot you in the air and still do damage to you.
have to hit you directly. They can't just hit you with splash damage when you're in the air. Just right there, it's making the game tremendously, easier to manage.
I wonder who told him that. Was it one of his fans in the chat, or was it a guide that he was looking up? Lean towards a guide. Oh, he's taking a sip of his water. It's crunchy, crunchy, crunch.
But in addition to that, me learning new strategies and things.
You do not learn any strategies. You read up on the strategies, and you're like, wow, this doesn't work.
We did the arena fights and unlocked a bunch of upgrades, like the ability to heal more and get an actual shield that reduces damage. And then we got to the point of the game where I had heard from what you guys had told me and what the internet was abuzz about.
So, yeah, he looked it up, and people were telling him. Knew that was going to happen.
All right? The point in the game that everyone was calling the skill check. This was the point of the game where supposedly a lot of gamers and streamers had quit the game on this boss. Now, I don't know. I'm not watching other gamers and streamers. You know me.
So that part where you're saying that people were getting to a certain part in Armored Core 6 and they rage quitted, you didn't watch them? Pretty sure you watched them.
Just playing my own thing. This is what people are telling me. This is what people all over social media are saying. That this was the big skill check for the game, and if you get past this point, you're pretty much full speed ahead. You're going to enjoy the rest of the game.
Yeah, he looked up everything about this game because he wanted to make sure that he learned everything about the game. Same thing with Chrono Trigger, talking about Magus.
If this point crushes you and defeats you and makes you rage, you're probably going to hate the rest of the game, and that's why a lot of people just quit it at that point.
Again, he was saying that people that were streaming the game rage quitted it, so he already knows what people are playing, and he also knows who is doing the rage quitting. But then again, it could just be all a big exaggeration.
Okay? So, the point I'm talking about is the Baltius, no H in there, boss fight. This is a boss,
AKA the final boss of Chapter 1.
That when you...
Or the Chapter 1 end boss, excuse me.
You face it, immediately introduces you to gameplay mechanics that didn't even exist before then. So you...
Even though the game did tell you about these game mechanics, aka the training mode.
Would have need to be psychic to know that these gameplay mechanics would have been in there to prepare for it. In addition...
Yeah, you totally have to be psychic to play any game from Software because you don't know jack shit about it, even though the game clearly tells you what to do.
This is the first boss that essentially has multiple boss phases in the game, a la classic Soulsborne gameplay. So if you've played Soulsborne games before, you're used to it.
I love how immediately he's comparing the Armored Core series to the Soulsborne games, even though they play entirely different.
However, if you never have, you're probably shocked. What the hell? Why is this boss changing forms and attack patterns in the middle of the fight? It also has some really overpowered attacks, and quite frankly...
So, just like all the other Armored Core games, gotcha.
It seems to be...
he's looking at his chat.
Exactly what people are describing it as, all right? It is a wall. And if you can find a way to climb over this wall or break your way through it, you'll probably understand the mechanics enough to do well for the rest of the game.
Even though he does not understand the mechanics of Armored Core 6 or just anything when it comes to FromSoft games.
And if you don't, you might as well quit then, okay?
You hear that? If Phil tells you to quit, you better quit, goddammit.
So, first of all, admittedly, people on my streams are supportive and they want to see me succeed.
AKA when they're, in his words, supportive. That's when he gets a lot of money. He gets about $160, about hitting his tips goals. then they want him to keep playing the game, but Phil just wants the money, doesn't care about the game.
And there was one particular person who had given me a little bit of a heads up earlier on in the stream. They said, you're going to want to buy a plasma gun. They didn't tell me why. They said, listen, you're just going to want to buy a plasma gun. And that's all they said. They said, just get one when you can do it.
AKA the guy that he was looking at told him to do so.
I said, okay, so I had bought it earlier on the stream before I ever got into this boss, not understanding why I needed the plasma gun. Well, without spoiling, it was this boss. This boss has a shield that needs to be downed. And if you don't have a plasma gun, it takes a long time to get the shield down. But then once the shield's down, it has a second shield. Basically, it's the stun shield, the stagger meter, kind of like Sekiro. So
okay, so before he goes into this a little bit more, the game does inform you about these shields way before the fucking Chapter 1 end boss. There's a mission you do that you're trying to investigate something, and all of a sudden you get ambushed. One of them has the shield that he's talking about. So the game does tell you about these shields. They do tell you this before you get to the boss itself. My god, and he's telling people that the game doesn't explain anything, that you had to learn this on basically on the fly.
So it's like, first you have to take down the level 1 shield, then you have to do the stagger shield, then you can finally hurt the thing. So imagine doing all that and not knowing. But if you have the plasma gun can essentially cut through the first shield, so it takes out a lot of the difficulty of the fight. So admittedly,
again, the game already told him that these shields will exist and what weapon to use, because it gives you an idea of what to do. But again, he's saying that the game does not explain this to you or show you that you need this.
someone helped me ahead of time, not spoiling and explaining that.
Not spoiling, even though he was telling you why.
But basically just saying, get a plasma gun, you'll need it, okay? Now, in addition to that...
Sounds like a puzzle plus. Yeah, that sounds like something Phil would say.
There were some other gameplay mechanics in the game that had never been explained properly. I'm sorry, they just weren't. For example, there's a lock-on mechanic. I knew that.
They did tell you about the lock-on mechanic, Phil. They said click R3.
But I didn't understand that the lock-on mechanic in this game is different from that in Soulsborne games.
Well, it's like strafing, Phil, and yes, they did tell you, and they did show you why. I mean, my god, training mode.
In Armored Core, when you lock onto an enemy, you permanently lock onto the enemy. If that enemy flies behind you, you stay locked on.
And not necessarily, Phil.
The difference is that your aim isn't as accurate when you're on the auto lock-on, okay? When you manually do the more manual lock-on, which is essentially don't do the R3 lock-on, you'll hit more. But...
yeah, he's just talking out of his ass here. He has no idea what he's talking about.
It's more worth it, especially when you're fighting a tough boss. It seems to be more worth it to have the lock-on, especially if the boss is very maneuverable, because that boss could be zipping all over the screen, which is exactly what happens with Baltius. There's points where that boss will just decide, I'm just going to zip right by you and go behind you. So now you're trying to find, where did it go? Is it above me? Is it directly behind me? Sometimes you're like spinning around looking for this damn thing, and if you're not fast, he's going to pummel you with missiles.
Well, yeah, just like every other FromSoft game where the boss could do that, and you have to be very careful and cautious. Thank you for explaining what to do in a FromSoft game.
You need to be on your toes. The lock-on system never properly explained in the game.
Even though it already was explained in the game, but you gotta read. But Phil doesn't like to read.
Sorry, it just isn't. I don't care what anyone says. I played every tutorial, and it was never explained.
Nah, he didn't play every tutorial because he doesn't like to read.
Okay, so someone explained to me how that lock-on system worked during the boss fight so I could actually understand it and utilize it properly. Otherwise, I would have been flubbing around not knowing what to do, because once again, it's a case of another FromSoft game that doesn't really explain its mechanics to you. That's par for the course for FromSoft, though.
Yeah, blaming FromSoft for quote-unquote not explaining what to do or what mechanics do, even though they did. Like, my god, I'm repeating myself here. God, bash me in the head.
Like, the nuances of the engine need to be discovered on your own because they don't explain anything in any way of a proper fashion.
Or you could just, I don't know, read?
I mean, so some people will just be like, we'll just be used to that. Well, sorry, I still got to call it out. A spade is a spade, and a tutorial that doesn't fully explain all the gameplay mechanics isn't much of a tutorial.
Even though they did tell you what to do with it, Phil, you just don't want to learn because you're impatient.
It never explained that. So, it is what it is. Thank you obviously to the viewer who explained that to me, okay?
You want to know why this viewer told you? It's because they read the goddamn tutorial.
So essentially, once everything was explained, you need the plasma gun. use this lock-on mechanic in all of this, okay? I started the Baltius fight with a sword, and after trying a couple times, I was like, nah, it's not really working. Let me try something else. Let me try maybe the grenade launcher. So after now playing for about a half an hour, I learned the Baltius attack patterns and how to dodge them.
Wait, half an hour? It took you that long to do so? I thought it was more than an hour and a half.
I learned how to cut through Baltius' shield, and essentially I learned the best strategy is get the shield down, pummel him with high damage moves to stagger him, then float and hover on top of him with the tetrapod build, and just rain down upon him as much as you can.
I wonder who told him that. Oh, it must be the guide that he was reading that told him how to do this. Thanks, guide.
Until the shield regenerates. With that strategy, after one downing, I was getting this boss down to less than 50% health. Then it was just about surviving, because the second half of the fight is a little bit tougher. He's got this flame sword you got to dodge and stuff like that. But
again, he's reading this off of a guide, so thank you to whoever wrote the guide so that he could read it so he can't have fun with the game and enjoy the challenge of it.
Essentially, the strategy is almost the same, just more attacks to dodge, okay? So, I'm doing this, and basically I'm saying my usual stuff for when I'm playing a game like this that's difficult. I'm saying things like the game is cheating and stuff like that, right?
Which you always do to every fucking game. You even did it to Pokemon Violet and Scarlet when you said the Mona was fucking cheating. A fucking CPU is cheating, my god. He just can't adapt to challenge.
Right? Now, when I say stuff like that, you have to understand, number one, it's in the heat of the moment. It's because I'm full of adrenaline. It's because I'm,
No. Don't say it's about the heat of the moment thing. Because you were yelling at people saying they can't say things that were heat in the moment. So now, pot calling the kettle black here. Kettleton, come here, Kettleton. Okay, can you tell us in real detail that that's hypocrisy? He just blanked at me and just... He's just confused of why he's here.
Hence, about fighting a tough boss. Did the game cheat? I mean, no, not necessarily. The game didn't disable all my weapons, and the game didn't fucking, suck my health bar away with one hit, okay?
Even though the game did pummel you with a lot of missiles and you kept dying a lot.
But, I will say that whenever I'm playing a FromSoft game, I always feel like every single circumstance is stacked against you, right?
Well, then again, that's called challenge, Phil. You felt challenged. And you don't like feeling challenged because it's too hard.
Like it's you, the tiny little ant, against a ginormous, monstrous entity trying to take it down. This guy is so fast that he can zip by you at a moment's notice. He doesn't have any tells that he's going to do it. He just does it. Now he's behind you, raining down missiles on you. You're like, wait, where did he even go?
So what you were just describing earlier. I mean, it's a boss, Phil. The boss is supposed to do so.
And you're not fast enough to really react to that. You just got to kind of flub it and hope that you can get out of the way in time or find him really quick.
No, people are actually quick enough to find where the boss is located, but since you have the reflexes of a goddamn snail, it's very hard for you to find the boss, but once you find it, too late, you're dead.
There were situations where he would hit me with the sword, and I couldn't avoid it because I was already out of stamina, and he'll continuously hit you with the sword. Like, boom, 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 dead. Like, oh my god.
I thought it was like more of a one-hit kill, Phil. Which is it?
Well, I couldn't avoid that. So to me, I'm saying stuff like, listen, there's RNG factor. Sometimes you're going to get lucky, and you're going to be able to maneuver more, and you're not going to run out of your stamina. You're going to down him and everything. And there's going to be times when he's just going to do the maneuver move. He's going to zip by you 10 times, and now you can't even down him once. And it's true. When I was fighting this boss, that's exactly what happened. It's this RNG factor in a FromSoft game. An enemy will determine to just do one of its random attacks at any given moment.
That does not sound like an RNG, Phil. It's doing what it's programmed to do. I love how he's immediately gone, it's RNG. Oh, it's all random, even though it's not. It's doing what it's programmed to do. This isn't like a slot machine, Phil. Hell, this isn't even something like Payday 2, where you don't know the outcome of the situation, because it always progresses to change, because you don't know what change is, but you want to say that you do, because you're the valedictorian with a business degree that's running a failing business.
And then, based on that, you either get lucky or you don't. I remember when I beat him, basically what I did, someone had given me some more advice and said, you should go back to the sword. I know you tried it at first, it wasn't working, but now you know the boss's patterns, you know how to down him, you should try the sword now. So I tried, and lo and behold, the sword recharged like 4 times faster than the grenade launcher. So I was basically pummeling him to get the shield down, slashing him with the sword, pummeling him, slashing, pummeling, slashing, and he just got melted. And I was like, wow. So
Huh, for someone that claims to know what they're doing, needs help telling him what to do. God damn, it's so much like Phil. It's like classic DSP. Bitches at the game, and he's hoping for someone to give him the fucking answer. And as soon as they give him the answer, oh yeah, I did this, guys. I did it all by myself. No help at all.
I actually, I went from getting my ass handed to me to almost like styling on this guy, right? So after I...
No, sorry, Phil. You don't know how to style on anybody. I mean, look what the fuck you're wearing, Phil. That butt plug shirt that you're wearing, and you're thinking that makes you look fly and stylish? Man, my God. It looks like you're ready to go to the retirement home at any moment.
Finally beat him. I was like, okay, so I beat the skill check, right? And I made a joke.
No, you never beat the skill check at all. You don't even have any skills.
Here I am wearing a Bender hat and a freaking platinum vest because people have been very supportive during the stream.
Yeah, and you also were complaining that you're dealing with back pain. That you're saying that you're in a lot of fucking pain. But as soon as you start wearing the vest, wearing the Bender condom hat, and the gunner glasses, oh, the pain just up and vanished. Like, huh? Must be a placebo.
And I make a joke. I said, so all those content creators and all those streamers that quit, guess what? I just beat that boss with a Bender outfit on. You suck. And it's a joke. It's not meant to be serious. It's me just razzing people and being stupid, right?
But here's the thing with that, though, Phil. Every time you try to tell a quote-unquote joke, there's no hint of a joke. There's no funny tone with it. You're not telling it to be humorous. You're telling it to be insulting. So you were essentially insulting people while saying that you beat the game, you beat that part of the game, and everyone else sucks but you. You're essentially saying that everyone is stupid except for you, but your whole house is burning down.
Right? So I do that, and then we move on, and we played for about another hour. I did more arena fights, and then lastly on the stream, there was a whole other stage I beat, which was pretty challenging because I was trying these new miniguns, which I like, but dude, they ran out of freaking ammo. So here I am trying to beat the stage with my fists, right? And then I finally got to the boss, luckily, and the boss was challenging and interesting and unique, and I beat the boss. Like, okay, great session, right? So at the end of
yeah, great session, yet you were yelling at people to give you more money.
the session,
oh, he has to take another swig of water. Crunch, 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 yummy, 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 pick the nose.
admittedly, I was a bit quizzically confused.
Quizzically confused? Who says quizzically confused? Like, baffled, dumbstruck, paralyzed. People can say that, but quizzically confused. How stupid.
And I was kind of scratching my head. Why is it that people quit at Baltius? What about that boss particularly made people rage so badly that these people wanted to quit the game and didn't want to play it again? The thing that really made me puzzled is that that Armored Core 6 is a FromSoft game.
Before he goes on to saying this all bullshit, it's like, Phil, when people quit Baltius or whatever the fuck the name is, I forget the name, they're not quitting the game. They're just putting it down and taking a break from it because they don't want to rage. They don't want to become stressed about it. But you immediately assume that that's a way for them to quit the game and move on to something else, scamming the audience. But there are some people that do play the game and they put it down, they come back, they beat it. I mean, I did that, kicking my ass. I put it down, went right back into playing it, and I beat it. What's so hard about it? What's so hard to take a break from a game when it's not doing you any good, when you're trying to do the same thing over and over and over, and no results are going your way? Like, I don't understand why Phil's going on about this. Like, why do people quit games? I mean, I did it no problem, but you had people telling you what to do, and you were looking up a guide. That's why.
Everyone last year played Elden Ring. Even people who had never touched a FromSoft game before had played Elden Ring. So you know what you're in for.
And not really. There are some people that can actually go into skill, like go into hard games like this with skill, and they actually know what to do with it. But you don't.
These FromSoft games have been around now for over a decade. Remember, Dark Souls 1 was 2011. So you're talking 12-year legacy of these games being out and being mainstream, and people know what they are.
Phil, I'm sorry to tell you this, but it's been around way before Dark Souls. There's a little game called Demon's Souls that came out in 2009. So that's essentially longer. You could say that's a 14, maybe 15-year legacy. But again, what do I know? Phil thinks he knows best and all.
So it gets to me how confusing it is that people would have quit this game. All right? So last night, after trying to figure this out, I posted up on Twitter or X or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Just call it Twitter, Phil. You calling it X means that you're a sheeple following the next trend, while you're saying you're not following a trend. Just call it Twitter, because it'll never be known as X to anybody.
And I also posted up on my main channel page of my channel an honest question that I would like feedback on. And the question was, why? Oh, actually, I should just read it word for word. No, I'm going to read it word for word so that way there's no one can say, oh, that's not what you said or whatever. Okay.
Even though him reading it, quote unquote, word for word will not do any good. Then again, he loves to paraphrase it anyway.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to read it word for word, the post.
I thought he would have had this already up and running, but no, he's not prepared.
Ready? Here it is. Why did so many people rage quit Armored Core 6 at Baltius? And why are people saying the game is way hard? I legitimately don't get it. I would appreciate some feedback to talk about on Wednesday's podcast. Thanks. That's it. All right? There's nothing there that's gloating. There's nothing there that's saying, ha ha, I dominated the game and you didn't.
But you did make that joke saying that you wore a stupid outfit and everyone sucks because you beat the fucking boss. You still were insulting people.
All right? It's just me genuinely asking the question, why do you guys think that people say the game is so hard?
Well, here's the thing, though, Phil. With text, you do not know the genuine emotion with it. Instead, people are going to read it. They think, oh, he's being an asshole. Or B, they're looking at you like you're a dumbass. It's always going to be like that, Phil. That's why texting is kind of a blessing and a curse.
And that this boss is the rage quitting point. Because for me, being around the block, having played every major FromSoft game since Dark Souls, actually since Demon's Souls at this point.
No, you have not played all the FromSoft games. If you did, you would have played like Metal Wolf Chaos. You would have played all the other Armored Core games, even Kingsfield. You could have played those, but you didn't. Is it Kingsfield? I forget which one it was, but it's one of those.
I've definitely faced way harder challenges.
Yeah, it's called your bankruptcy, and it's called your marriage.
Argue that the Great Ape or the Double Great Apes in Sekiro were way tougher than this.
You mean the Guardian Ape? And yeah, we know. You got pissed off at it, and you looked up a fucking guide from Fextra Life, and you beat the boss. And people called you out for it.
I would argue that many other bosses in general in FromSoft games have been giant walls of difficulty for me, and this just wasn't it for me,
Even though you looked up a guide to how to beat the boss, so then it didn't become a quote-unquote challenge for you, but it beat the fun out of the game for you.
So, what are we talking about? What's really going on here? All right? And so, I had open replies on my tweet, my post on X. And
just say tweet. Stop saying X. Like, fucking goddamn, call it a tweet. That's what it is.
And I wanted to see what people had to say. So I got a variety of responses. Of course, first of all, I get some of the most ridiculously stupid, over-the-top, dumb-ass responses that you would ever get whenever you have open, responses. You're going to get your hater base responding. Someone literally...
Okay, so A, most of your hater base responded to it. Fat fucking chance, due to the fact that you blocked the majority of your hater base. I mean, I'm one of them. I've been blocked from you for 10 years.
Said this. I'm not shitting you. Oh, did you leave your responses open on this post for clout?
If it was on there, why don't you fucking read it? You could read your question, no fucking problem on your phone, but no other responses? Also, why the fuck are you staring at it? That's your mugshot. It looks like you're being arrested for fucking drunken intoxication. Or public intoxication, excuse me. Also, yes, anything that you do, Phil, is for clout. And he immediately goes into that fucking 90s question mark backdrop. God damn, that is so fucking annoying.
Did I leave open responses on a random post on the X app to gain clout?
I mean, you do a lot of things for clout, Phil. Look at LTG, look at side-scrollers, look at Rich, Keemstar. You've done a lot of things for clout. Even the drama that you created is all for clout.
Because we all know that when Darkside Phil has an open response post on the X app, it's mainstream news. Did you know that this morning, Kotaku, IGN, and GameSpot all had front page articles about how Darkside Phil has an open post on fucking Twitter? I mean, Wow!
I don't think any of those game publications or journalistic sites would know who the fuck you are. They would just look at you and be like, oh, just some random nobody. All right, let's move on.
Yeah, that's exactly why I did it.
And your response was golden, because it shows how big of an asshole you are.
Or...
Also, why you show the DSPN? Nobody cares. You don't even watch sports anyway. Also, why the fuck was it moved? Oh, god. Yep, Trunkside Phil is looking at you, and it looks like some shitty action movie.
maybe I wanted some responses so I could talk about it today.
Well, if you can't think of anything to say and you're demanding other people to give you topics for you, it just shows you're not really prepared to do anything. Oh, I can talk about everything that you want to, guys. I can do everything when you really can't.
Anyway. Now I'm clicking the wrong thing. Anyway.
You always click the wrong shit, Phil. Shows that you're not prepared.
Of course, you get people who actually have a point, but because they're just so used to everything they're saying towards me being hateful and negative, they have to say it in a very insulting way. So what I had to do is I had to kind of sift through a lot of shit to get to the point.
Even though it wasn't really a hateful question, it was actually a genuine question. But there you go again, perceiving it as negativity, even though it was just a question.
I think people actually had a point, but the problem is no one on the internet knows how to say anything like an intelligent human, okay?
Like you do? Do you know how to talk like a quote-unquote intelligent human? Because nobody calls things intelligent humans. They don't say anything and then add it with a human at the end. Oh, what does that person do? Oh, they're a fast food human. Oh, this person's a retail human. This one's an intelligent human. This one's a book human. It's like, I don't understand the shit that comes out of your mouth sometimes, Phil.
Okay, so here's essentially the point that a lot of people made, and I will actually intelligently respond to it.
You saying something intelligently? Fat fucking chance. Sounds very cantankerous if you ask me.
So you're an interactive streamer, right? I am. You're absolutely correct. I am. When you're playing a game like Armored Core 6, a lot of people in your chat are telling you about the game. And so, as you're fighting this boss, you're getting some advice, you're getting some, tips.
Yeah, even someone in the chat's like wanted responses so you could ignore them and crap all over them. Essentially, that's what he does on an everyday basis.
That other people don't get. A lot of streamers...
Phil just wants some social interaction. Was that too much to ask for? But he has no idea how to socially interact with people.
Who are hardcore...
Also, goddamn, how many burps was that? Like 2 in 1?
...into the FromSoft games.
You could just say the Armored Core series, Phil. Not FromSoft. FromSoft didn't just make Armored Core, they made Dark Souls as well, but they made other games besides those two.
Outright tell their audiences, I'm not allowing any advice or spoilers unless I ask for it.
Even though people give you the advice anyway, and you take it, as well as looking up guides.
So seriously, unless I say something to you and say, I need help, they don't allow their audience to try to spoil or help. And if they do, they actually have their moderators ban them outright from the chat.
No. They say it flat out that they don't want backseat gaming, because they don't want the game to be spoiled for them. That's why they do it. But if they do ask for help, some streamers out there are actually willing to listen to their viewers. They are willing to listen to their chat. It's like, okay, what do I do? And they tell them. Do the mods ban them? Fuck no, they don't. The only time I've ever seen mods banning people, besides your chat, of course, is whenever someone's playing the game and they're trying to figure it out on their own, but people are telling him the answer, being assholes, and the mods banned them. Even though it's clear in the rules, no backseat gaming. Because he never asked for it. But now you're looking at all these content creation, you're shitting on them going, oh, but what I do, guys, is a lot better than what they do. But are you making the same amount of financial support than they are? Are you making more money than they are? Of course not. Instead, it's just a hint of jealousy.
Okay? I think that's a little harsh.
It's not harsh. It's a rule. Then again, you're the one that constantly creates new rules, and you're hoping that your fucking goddamn audience responds to it, but you still kick them out.
So we're trying to help you, It's a difference between a major story spoiler that's ruining the entirety of the game or someone just saying, hey, try this weapon. It's a little different, I think.
No, it's still the same thing, Phil. It's still the same thing. Because A, you're telling them what to do, and B, they weren't asked for any advice. Like I said, if it's requested, then they could do so. But if they're going to break the rules on those chats, then yeah, them being banned or timed out actually works. And the funny thing is that he thinks that they're banning people when they're just getting timed out. But then again, he just flat out bans people.
But hey, some people, I guess, are that harsh where they literally just want everything to be earned, like legit get good mentality kind of a deal.
Or they're just trying to learn it for themselves, and they're trying to challenge themselves, and they're trying to figure it out on their own. I mean, is that so much to say, Phil? Is that so much to, like, tell your audience, like, hey, if they do it, they're trying to figure it out on their own, but when they ask, they tried so many times? It's not that hard to say, Phil.
I would
Or figure out.
think those are the kind of people who, like, Armored Core 6 was a giant game for them. Like, they love FromSoft, and they love it so much they don't want anything to be soiled or spoiled for them.
Maybe for, like, story stuff, yeah. But if they're trying to figure it out on their own with their own builds and their own tactics, then they don't ask the chat for help. But if they're constantly getting spammed with things to do that isn't very helpful, then yeah, they can get timed out for that.
So to them, having that kind of feedback is a negative, and they just don't allow it.
It's not a negative, Phil. It's them breaking the rules on their chat, and they got moderated. They got, timed out. But again, you're looking at like, oh, all the other people are too harsh, but you? Pot meets kettle, calling it black. Hey, Kelton, put the gun down. It's not worth it.
For me, let's be honest here. Number one, I wasn't even going to play Armored Core 6. I told you guys I never played a mech combat game before. I was going to skip it entirely.
Even though he played games like Titanfall, which is a mech-based type of game.
All right?
And he was going to skip it until one person gave it to him. And that one person kept demanding that he played it.
I'm only playing it because someone actually donated it to see if I would like it.
And you could have immediately rejected it. Be like, thank you for the code, but I do not want it. Give it to someone else. You could have done that, Phil, but no. You took the code, be like, Scratch the beard, like, maybe I can get some day one views out of it.
Number two, this is a game that isn't even really fitting into my schedule at this point.
Even though you mentioned that something about playing it, but blah, yada, yada, and it's not your game. We get the same bullshit from you every time, Phil.
As we all know, the major releases for September for me will be Starfield.
Which I'm going to say right now is not going to be the best game. Just saying.
Continuing with Street Fighter 6, Lies of P, and Mortal Kombat 1.
Even though he said that Lies of P was a knockoff Souls game. But yeah, he's still going to play it.
Maybe Sea of Stars in there somewhere. And
fuck no. Stay the fuck away from Sea of Stars, goddammit. You better stay the fuck away from it.
then maybe something at the end of the month. But that's essentially what I'm focusing on. Everyone knows that.
Well, I guess I better play the game before he ruins it.
If I play this game longer, all right, basically, we'll see what happens, all right? But, it wasn't really a big investment for me. So, since this is a game that, obviously, I'm kind of testing the waters to see if you'll like it, if I'll like it, it kind of makes sense to not have me stuck on a boss for 17 hours. And
even though you're looking up a guide for it, and again, Phil, the joy of a game is figuring shit out on your own. But you don't know anything about enjoying things and experiencing shit on your own. You want someone to hold your hand and to give you some reading material so that you can, quote unquote, get good.
And if someone's offering a little bit of advice on the boss, I'm not going to say, oh, ban you for doing that.
Even though that's considered backseat gaming, but knowing you like all sorts of fucking feedback. You like all sorts of things that can hold your hand. You love it when the chat helps you. Even though you claim that you never relied on your chat and you never looked at it for 1,000 years.
In fact, that person who had said use the plasma or buy a plasma gun essentially was giving me a huge tip on how to face this boss. Now,
well, I think that guy gave you money. The only reason why you saw it is because they gave you money.
I didn't know that at first. I didn't have the plasma gun at first when I fought him, but I did adjust the plasma gun on the fly, tried it, and I was like, wow, this is working really well. I'm glad that I got that piece of advice. The lock-on advice, that was huge.
Again, He was given money just to read that advice.
Without that, I wouldn't have been able to even follow the boss and see where it had gone on the screen. I would have been flubbing about. So yeah,
Then again, you would have flubbed about anyway.
there was definitely some key pieces of advice. Absolutely. That helped out. That's called being an interactive streamer.
No, that is not, Phil. An interactive streamer would go into your chat asking them, how you doing today? Are you doing good? How's everyone doing today? Oh, what's that? You got a new cat? Oh, that's really good. What's the cat's name? I hope the cat is cute. Oh, what's that? You're having a baby. Oh, congratulations on your newborn life. Thank you so much for that. But no, what you do is you look at your chat. Oh, thank you, Big Baller 55, for that $5 donation. Oh, let me read that. Oh, it's a troll message. Ban. If it's nothing to do with money or you're banning people, then you don't interact with your fucking audience at all. It's really sad that he misconstrues what makes an interactive streamer an interactive streamer.
But you know what? There's a fair point there. Not everyone's an interactive streamer, right?
Phil, you're clearly not an interactive streamer. You said that you were from 2017 to now, but you never were.
Right? Some streamers want no advice, and a lot of people who maybe are sitting around playing this game for themselves aren't getting that help.
Because they're not asking for that help. They want to figure it out on their own. Is that so hard to say?
So maybe that's what it is. And then I started to think, see, and this is what I mean. That feedback is actually very valid feedback, and I like it. But sadly, a lot of people just couldn't say that in a nice way and say, Phil, the reason you're maybe not, hating on the game as much as others is because you had some people help you with it. But in reality, it's really hard to fight that boss without that help first.
Phil, nobody told you this at all. And if they wanted, more feedback or more insight on it, they could just go look at your videos and see why. Why you're asking the question and why you're being a major douchebag about it.
But instead of people saying it nicely like that, literally no one said that. It was, oh, because you're a piece of shit and you suck at games, so your handheld stream chat has to do this,
And he says that nobody told him that, but he's saying that everyone said that he sucks at the game. Again, nobody said this to him. He's just making shit up and over-exaggerating it to build up drama for himself.
Real fuck faces, real people who just don't know how to speak to someone, that if they said that to someone's face in person, they get slapped in real life by...
So... the side-scrollers interview, when you're trying to talk to people, we've seen how you look around. You have no idea how to talk to people. I mean, for God's sake, Density Scrolls did something where they brought up an interview. It was like a radio show that you were on, and you have no idea how the fuck to talk to people. It's like, Phil, we've heard how you spoke with people in the past, and now. You have no idea how to speak to people. And yet, every single time, people want to beat the shit out of you for shit that you have said. Because you mean the actions that you're saying. But you want to cower like a little bitch and be like, oh, no, guy, no, I'm an alcoholic.
Someone because they're so disrespectful, but
it's coming from the king of disrespect himself.
They think it's fair game because you can just say it to someone on the internet and get away with it. It's fucked up antisocial idiots.
Says the motherfucker that sits there in his office for 6 days a week and goes out once a week to go do his fucking grocery shopping. Has no social interactions with his neighbors, has no social interaction with people outside of his community, but instead he wants to sit there going, oh, all these people that are talking shit on the internet, they don't know shit about being sociable. It's like, my God, you think that you're very gregarious when you're really, really not. And Phil, gregarious means sociable.
That's the kind of responses that I get.
Sure it is, Phil, because you're a piece of shit that deserves it now. Crunch your water, shut it.
But that doesn't invalidate their points.
Wait. So, these made-up responses telling you suck, and that you're calling them dumbasses that are antisocial. Now you're proclaiming that it doesn't invalidate their responses. Phil, which is it? Do you hate it when people respond to you? Or do you just want to sit there pretending that it offends you when it really doesn't because it doesn't exist?
The points they're making, I feel, actually are valid.
So, the things about that you suck and that you have your hand held by your chat? Huh. It is validated. Huh. Goddamn.
Yeah, if I didn't have that plasma gun, if I hadn't bought it before this boss would have been way worse.
Yeah, so he's just admitted that his chat holding his hand is what helped him. So congrats, you played yourself.
If I hadn't known about the lock-on, this boss would have been way worse. I have to agree with these points, okay?
Phil, you're not doing yourself any favors, and you're not being painted in a good light here. You're not doing so yourself. Instead, what you're proving to everybody is that, yeah, they held your hand throughout this entire game, and it's so fun when they do it, but now you're just... now you're just sitting there going, yeah, they're right. They're right. I have to have my hand held because I don't know anything. Where's my wife?
So, fair enough, valid points. However...
Oh, here we go. Yep, they're valid points, but he had to pull in that however.
I will say this, and this is what a lot of people don't realize. Tons of streamers out there are just like me, and I hate to tell you this, way worse when it comes to having people hold their hands.
No, Phil. Streamers out there are better than you because they're genuinely entertaining. Depending on how they're entertaining is purely subjective. But you're not entertaining. Like, people can go watch people like Squeak, Spartan John, Ludwig, or even Dr. Disrespect if he's streaming still. They'll go watch them because they're watching the person on the fucking stream because they're entertaining. You, on the other hand, are not entertaining, and you get so fucking butthurt about everything and anything all of the time. Welcome to the internet, Phil, where your opinion doesn't mean shit.
There's streamers out there that literally the way that they play games is just as a social thing with their audience.
Well, duh. Why do you think they're called interactive streamers, Phil?
This is all they do. If they're going to play a game, they're just going to have their audience tell them what to do entirely.
Not necessarily, Phil. They actually tell them, and they have rules saying, hey, do not backseat game. Do not tell me what to do. Do not give me any hints. I want to figure this out on my own. But you, Philip, want people to tell you what to do because you cannot think for yourself.
I've seen streamers, literally, it's like they're not even playing the game.
Who are these streamers that you're talking about, Phil? I love how you said, these streamers do this, these streamers do that. But who are they? Who are these streamers? It's like, is this going to be like another Pepe Sylvia situation where it's like, oh, this streamer did this, but there is no streamer that did this. And I went over to Carol, and I went, Carol! Carol! And there's no Carol in HR.
Their audience is playing the game for them.
Like, your audience is playing the game for you?
Okay. It's valid content creation because these people are popular and they make a living doing it.
They're popular and they're considered more of a content creator than you are because they're generally entertaining to those people. Like I said, people watch streams for the creator, not for the game. Unless it's a game that people are curious about and their favorite content creator or streamer is playing it, they want to see what the game's about, so they'll go watch it. What's so hard to figure this out, Phil?
All right? Not everyone is a get good kind of streamer.
You're clearly not.
But here's the thing. I hate to say it, a toxic fan base.
You're calling your audience that gives you money a toxic fan base? So right there, you're putting people like me and the rest of the detractors, as well as your audience, in the same category. Phil, how drunk are you right now?
Of hate watchers.
Oh, there we go, Phil. You're just putting your hate watchers with your actual quote-unquote caring audience. Yeah, how many bottles of gin have you consumed today?
Yes, it's a fan base, but it's a fan base of hate watchers, okay?
But then again, though, Phil, most of the detractors were a fan of yours once upon a time. But the shit that you've done in the past to now, they're still going to be detractors. Are they hate watchers? No, because they get entertainment out of watching you fail and just watching what the next shit you're going to say. It's like 90 Day Fiancé or Game of Thrones. They want to know what's going to happen next, and that's why this community is still going to go strong, man.
Okay? So again, to them, if I'm not struggling in something, and if I'm actually succeeding, it's not entertaining.
Phil, the shit that you've said can be somewhat entertaining, but we can also pick you apart like it's a goddamn case study. I mean, my God, this is why the detractor community is the best community, quite frankly.
So God forbid, I'm having a good time with my audience. We're having positive conversation.
No, you are not having any of that, Phil. Stop deluding yourself to believing that you're having a grand old time with your audience. In reality, you're not, because if your audience isn't helping you or giving you money, then they're worthless to you. You treat them like they're fucking like money bags, like a bank account. And all these people that give you advice, and you treat them like they're your main scholars. And when they don't help you or don't give you any contributions, you kick them the fuck out.
Enjoying the game. They see that there's some hard stuff coming up, and they toss me a little bit of a bone, so that way when I fight this boss, it's an hour to an hour and a half instead of 7 hours, right?
Even though the most fun that people can have is figuring shit out on their own. Again, Phil does not understand this.
What was more enjoyable yesterday? Seeing me struggle a little bit on the boss, learn slowly, get the pattern, switch back to the sword, and beat him in epic fashion? Or see me play that boss for 3 streams and be very upset and not enjoy the game?
Well, depends on who's watching it, Phil. A lot of people would like watching the second part, aka you struggling at the boss and getting angry at it, because some people like seeing people rage. I mean, that is a category of content, Phil. People who play games and they rage. Gamer rage. But you, for the first part of it, it's people giving you money, telling you what to do, and that you beat the game and you call that fair. When it really isn't, because you're not learning from it. You're not challenging yourself, and you are being told the answer to everything. It's like going to take an SAT exam and you're trying to figure it out on your own, but someone gave you a cheat sheet and you won. You essentially passed it. But if that was the case, you would be expelled for fucking cheating.
What would have been the better option? I think anyone who's not a toxic, hate-watching asshole would say option 1 is the best option.
No. Even normal people would look at the second option and think that's more enjoyable.
But that's the problem. These idiots follow me around and just don't understand that's not who I am.
Bullshit. It isn't. Phil, your fucking 15-year legacy is made around you raging at a game and quitting it for something that's entirely you. Dude, my God, you can't see it.
Don't care about you.
Phil, you don't care about anybody unless they give you money. And yeah, you're going to say you don't care about the detractors, but yet, why are you talking about us if you don't care about us?
If all you hate watchers disappeared tomorrow, I would do better off.
Yeah, because apparently people wouldn't call him out for scamming people out of money, as well as him trying to grift people for the next biggest money scam, aka the dishwasher broke, the shower broke, the car broke, the tire got stolen. That's what he wants. He just wants people to go away that can call him out on everything, and yet he can live comfortably scamming people. That's what he really wants.
You like to justify your existence as if somehow you're the reason I still have any popularity. You couldn't be further from the truth.
So you having 200k subscribers and not even pulling tens of thousands of views on a video unless it's like a quote-unquote popular game, that your recent videos that you put out and your streams that put out does not maintain a good audience. You get at max 500 to 600 people sometimes, and that's the highest you'll ever get, maybe 1,000. But then after that, it goes straight down to 200 to 300 people, and you're thinking, I'm having a good night. And that when you don't get your tips goals, supposedly when people don't give you a shitload of money, you're calling that successful. My God, Phil, you are so fucking delusional about what is successful and what's a failure.
If you fuckfaces went away tomorrow, I could actually be here having fun with my audience and not have toxic stuff thrown at me constantly, and I'd actually for once be able to thrive.
Phil, you'll never, ever thrive because you do nothing to change. You'll claim that you're doing things to change and make your setup and make your streams enjoyable, but I'm sorry to tell you this, Phil, but it's not. You've done nothing to make it enjoyable.
I'd have positivity instead of negativity.
Well, you always will have negativity because you're so focused on the negativity and you push that onto your audience. And the only time you look at the positivity is when you get the dollar bills, y'all.
You're the reason I'm held down, not the reason I still exist.
No, Phil, that is where you're fucking wrong here. What people can say and the action that people have done to you, in quotes, that should not hold you down. What's holding you down is you, because you allow this type of negativity to be put onto your content. You allow that to dance around your head and it's tugging at your heart. That's what's holding you down, Phil. Not me, not the rest of the people of the fucking detractor community, not even side-scrollers, not even Keemstar, not even Review Tech USA, not even Boogie or Wings. But you. You are the one person to hold yourself down and chain yourself there because you do nothing to break out of the chains of negativity and flourish like a phoenix out of the ashes. You have done nothing to improve, and you have done nothing to make yourself inspired to be greater. So fuck off by saying that we're the ones holding you down when it's clearly you.
So the moment the hate watchers go away, it's like paradise.
What's paradise, really? What exactly is paradise? Because a lot of people can look at whatever could be considered as paradiso or heaven or paradise. To them, it's clearly subjective. But you're trying to think that, oh, if all my hate watchers and all the drama from me went away, it'll be heaven. But the drama still lingers, Phil, because the internet never forgets. Keep that in mind the next time you run your mouth.
But the problem is, they're never going to go away, and we know that.
Well, you tried to take us down, but we came back stronger and more people have joined the cause. So, you failed.
I've been doing this now for long enough to realize this scumbag group will never stop being a black cloud over my head.
And yet you call it white noise, but you're bringing it in, and it's becoming the focus of attention.
All right? But you have to understand something. That doesn't invalidate the fact that I had fun and my viewers are having fun with this game.
Even though you didn't have fun, you look like you're bored, but as soon as people gave you your $150 for that fucking stream, immediately perked up and you weren't feeling any back pain. So, yeah, nice try lying to yourself.
Just because I'm not playing the game in line with these super duper try hard ultra get good streamers, the ones who are the FromSoft aficionados who absolutely need to prove the size of their e-penises by playing this game with zero help and really just going crazy hardcore into it and earning it all for themselves. I don't care.
Jesus Christ, you're saying all this that you don't care, but you do care. A nice way to fucking throw people under the bus, or trying to, by taking jabs at them by saying, oh, their only focus is about their e-penises because they're playing FromSoft games and they don't need help. They're trying to make themselves feel better. Well, that's you. You're projecting what you're saying about them when it's you.
I'm not playing Armored Core 6 for that.
Well, you wouldn't have played it anyway until someone gifted it to you, so...
I never was. I wasn't even going to play the game at all.
Yeah, you could have denied the gift. You could have denied the game. But did ya? Nah. You looked at it and said, I could get some day one views off of this. You
understand? That's not who I am. That's not what this was going to be.
Even though what you're about is money, money, money.
So, fuck off.
No, Phil, I'm not gonna fuck off. I'm still gonna sit right here and call you out on your own fucking bullshit.
Nobody cares about your opinion.
Well, Phil, nobody cares about yours, but you're more entitled to give your opinion, just like how I'm more entitled to give mine, and the rest of the people in this community are more than entitled to give their own opinion. So really, Phil, fuck off.
Besides you and your hate watching circle grouping Jew.
I'm sorry, what?
Nobody cares about your opinion. Besides you and your hate watching circle grouping Jew.
Oh my god, the hatred! Oh my god, the Dead Space 2! Oh fuck, the flashbacks! Oh god, my friends! The gunfire! God, that Freudian slip, yo!
Circle grouping. That's what I just said, circle grouping.
No, you said Jew! We heard what you said, you fucking Freudian slippy motherfucker! God damn, man.
Grouping. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. We heard what you said. You said Jew. I can't believe he said that. What a goddamn idiot. Oh my god. My fucking insides are dying.
Seriously. So, it's just simple. I like the game. And maybe I like it more than others because I'm actually having a positive experience with it. Because
No, you're not. Oh, okay. Phil, no, you're not. You're not liking this game at all. Stop lying to yourself that you're saying you're liking the game, and the only positivity you got was the money that came from it, and people hold your head. Shut up.
We're having a great stream of it because people are actually being nice.
Oh, people are getting nice. They were so kind to me to give me that $100. Oh my god.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying every single time that I face a boss, I want people to immediately throw all the solutions at me.
Which you just said that you did, that you wanted people to do that. So right there, you're contradicting yourself, Phil. God damn. You're just filled with contradictions, aren't you?
And that's not even what happened with this boss, right?
Even though that's clearly what happened.
I had a legit amount of time to try to learn stuff, and then people started giving me advice and things based on the things I wasn't doing. It worked out pretty well, I feel. I would say a boss like that, that's supposed to be a skill check, took about an hour, 15 minutes for me to beat. That's fair.
Yeah, but that's really not fair, though, because at first you were like, oh, this game sucks, and then people were throwing you fucking tips, fucking 4 tries in, and you weren't having fun.
In any FromSoft game, you're going to have those kind of skill check walls, and that's perfectly fine, right?
Oh, I'm agreeing with Boom Shroom right now. It's like, goddamn, he's not wrong. Saying he can't say that nobody cares about ranting about for 10 minutes. Yeah, I think that's what he has, but he's gonna get banned. Watch.
So I'm happy with the way it went. I really enjoyed that segment. And when
Oh, he didn't ban him. Oh, damn. Lucky.
I'm asking for feedback, I actually got legit feedback.
But you were getting advice of how to beat the game. You were getting tips on how to beat the game. Like, that's not enjoyable.
Sadly, the feedback had to be completely laden with disgusting negative insults and all kinds of fucked up stuff.
Even though it really wasn't, Phil. You're just making shit up to make your little e-penis get bigger.
But at least I got my feedback. So if you play this game as a try hard, get good, no help, no social experience, I just want to fucking play and prove the size of my e-dick kind of experience, the game's really hard.
Phil, maybe they're just playing the game without any help to challenge themselves. Maybe they're trying to get good on their own so they can figure out how to do it. And maybe, just maybe, if it's giving them a lot of trouble, they can ask for help. But you don't want to say that at all because you want to try to take jabs at other streamers because they're not you. Even though they make more money than you. Yeah, I'm going straight into your pockets. Fuck off.
Okay. Fair enough. I get it. Because if I didn't have that plasma gun or whatever, I probably would have had a lot more trouble with this boss. I kind of get it. But
even if you had that, you would have had trouble with it regardless.
at the same time, when you're playing a FromSoft game, aren't you used to that by now?
It depends. It really depends on your attitude, and it depends on perspective.
Aren't you used to that's what you're getting into? I mean, maybe what it is maybe Elden Ring had too much of a crutch, right? Maybe with Elden Ring, with the Ash summons or whatever, so many people got used to the game allowing them to pass stuff by summoning. You don't do that in this game. And wait, I have to do it by myself? Oh, fuck. I can't do it.
Well, here's the thing with that, though, Phil, because, sorry to tell you, but Elden Ring and Armored Core come from 2 different franchises. You see where I'm going with this, buddy?
Maybe that's what it is, all right? Someone else actually had a really interesting take.
Oh, God, now he's going back to his fucking Twitter post. Oh, the negativity. Oh, but one person was being nice.
And I really like this one, all right?
I think that was the only post that he liked.
Listen to this. The bosses, which the game is built around, are individually built to hard counter certain build types. If people come into this like a Souls game where you can just set up your build and find a way to play the entire game with just that build, they will hit a wall at some point.
It's a total fabrication. It never happened.
I think that's why the game was set up with the fact that there's checkpoints, and that whenever you reach a boss, if you die on that boss, okay, you can rebuild your mech right at that checkpoint. That's why the person had recommended, hey, just buy a plasma gun. So that way if you get to the point of the game where you need it, you have it, right?
Even though he wouldn't have done so to begin with.
So that's tremendous. That's an interesting gameplay mechanic. Instead of it just being, well, here's your build, get to the boss, steamroll the game because your build is overpowered.
I mean, Phil, they do that same thing with the Soul series. Yeah, I'm going to bring this up. They do the same thing. If you get your ass kicked a few times, then, hey, you could always, before going into the boss, change your weapons, change your strategies, then go into the boss. My God, Phil just loves to make shit up as he goes along.
Instead, it's, well, Try this build. Did it work? No. All right, try another build. Did it work? No. And this game should be commended because the checkpoints so far have been absolutely outstanding.
Phil, what you don't seem to realize is that the checkpoints were added into this game. All the other games before it did not have checkpoints. Just saying.
And the ability to build your mech or rebuild your mech right before the boss is a great idea. So I really, I'm looking at this game and I'm really strongly trying to look for like things to criticize.
But you already have by saying that the camera sucks, can't see. Oh my god, it's FromSoft, duh.
And I'm like, what can I honestly criticize about the game? Well,
Well, then again, Phil, it won't be from your standpoint. You'll just look at other reviews and be like, yep, that's what I think about it, and you'll try to regurgitate it to your audience.
environments are pretty empty. They don't look real. They look like they're video game stages set up from the PS2 era.
Phil, you do realize that this is a futuristic game? That's the way it's supposed to look? Oh, it's empty? God damn, do you not see all the other mechs and shit that you have to fight?
That's true. That's a valid criticism, okay?
But is it, though? Is it deterring you from playing the game more? No.
The story. There's not much to it.
Even though it does have a story, but you don't want to look into it because, oh my god, it's FromSoft with its convoluted bullshit.
It's just a bunch of comms chatter. That's not necessarily much of a story for a modern game.
Even though it is considered a story depending on who you ask.
Right?
But then again, you could say the same thing about Metal Gear Solid. That was filled with mostly comm chatter, and that's still added onto the story.
So, yeah, I will criticize a few different things about the game. But
yeah, don't say anything about criticisms because you don't know jack shit about criticism at all.
those things that are like game breakers, no. If you're in it for challenge, if you're in it for great, fast-paced, responsive mech combat, customizability of these mechs, insane amounts of loadouts and variety in the way that the mechs maneuver and or play, I think this game is great, But again, I went
Yeah, it's great and all, but where's my support?
into it with zero knowledge of mech games, and now after playing 6 hours, I really like it. I'm actually very much looking forward to more of what the game will throw at me. So
Yeah, but you're not, though. That's the thing, though. If people aren't there to give you advice or telling you what to do or not giving you money, you're not going to have fun with this game. That's the reason why you're having more fun with it now. You're not wanting to challenge yourself. You just want people to pull out mommy's credit card, throw the numbers at you, give you money, as well as giving you advice along the way. It's not very good because you're not doing anything to improve yourself with challenge.
so far, we've had invisible mechs, we've had super armor mech, we have all these things going on.
Which the game is telling you, hey, this is going to happen. Like I said, that mission where it had the invisible mechs, that was the one that I was talking about, was when it introduced the pulse armor or the pulse shields. It does tell you, hey, you're going to come across this type of mechanic, and you got to learn how to defend yourself against it. So Phil saying that this game does not tell you what to do or give you any indication of what to do is a bunch of bullshit.
I wonder what more there can be. I'm sure they're going to come up with more creative stuff the further into the game we get. So, I like it.
I like it when people give me money and hold my hand throughout Armored Core 6.
Now, as I continue to play the game, I will continue to have an interactive audience because I'm an interactive streamer.
Phil, you're not an interactive streamer because you don't give a fuck about what your audience is going through. You're not giving a fuck about anything. Instead, it's talk about me, talk about the game that I'm playing. I don't give a fuck about what you're going through and what games you're playing. If you're not following in the same lines as me, you're getting the fuck out. If you're not giving me any money, you're getting the fuck out. If you're not becoming a member, get the fuck out. Oh, wait, you are a member? Well, still get the fuck out.
That's the deal. And if people don't like that, they have the right to choose and say, listen, I don't like it that you're an interactive streamer and that people are maybe tossing you some advice, so I'm out of here.
Well, Phil, if you're done lying about what people say about you, the reason why nobody likes it is because you're not an interactive streamer. It's like a wolf in sheep's clothing type of thing, where you're pretending to be an interactive streamer, but you're really a scammer underneath that appeal.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough. Now get the fuck out.
That's fair. Go ahead. If you're out to only find someone who's literally only playing the game out for themselves, as if they were playing in an isolation booth in their room by themselves, no interaction, no advice, nothing whatsoever, and they just want to earn every single thing possible for themselves playing the game, there's streamers out there like that.
Jesus Christ, so he's basically calling them fucking losers. He's not saying it like that, but he's implying that they're losers.
They're known as kind of the FromSoft streamers. They have notoriety for being great at these games. I don't. So why are you holding those kind of judgments against me?
Because you proclaimed yourself to be the best at anything. You claimed that you played all the FromSoft games, that you're the best of the best. But in reality, you're not. And when they see you getting your ass kicked a bunch of times, you're still strutting your shit like you're the best. It's like, Phil, you don't learn from failure, and you want people to pull you out and to guide you through life. And through the game itself. That's probably the reason why no one likes you when it comes to games like this.
Why would anyone ever come to a Dark Side Phil stream expecting that DSP or DSP Gaming is going to be playing at the same level as one of those players? Are you?
Even though you really don't play at the same level. I mean, my God, if it took you an hour 15 minutes to beat that boss, it probably took people less time than that. Because people actually learn to get better at themselves, while meanwhile you're sitting there going, Chad, what do I do?
Are you fucking stupid?
Are you fucking stupid? I'm going to throw that question right back at you, Phil. Are you that fucking dense?
Answer is yes. If you
Yeah, you already answered it. Good job, Phil. Here's your gold star.
actually have those expectations, you're a moron. And the only reason you don't like the stream is because you came into it with preconceived notions that are completely erroneous. I've been a interactive live streamer since 2017.
Phil, we know your fucking story. We know about you becoming a quote-unquote interactive streamer since 2017, but you only did it to make money out of it. You don't give a fuck what people are going through. You just want the money. And that you want people to hold your hand. We already know this, Phil. Stop trying to bring this point up like it means something.
I literally have just started to say to you guys.
Oh, just now? 6 years later?
Recently, I'm 41 years old.
Oh, god damn it. Now he's going into how he's old and he doesn't have a lot of time left. Fuck!
I'm getting to the point in my life where I'm realizing that what I want to stream and play are games that I'm going to enjoy.
Phil, you don't enjoy gaming overall. Like I said, when someone asks you if you enjoy gaming outside of streaming, you immediately made that mechanics comparison, and you were saying that, oh, do they enjoy building cars or working on cars when they're not at their job? It's like, yes, they do, Phil. Same thing with people who stream video games a lot, and they do play video games outside of it. But you just sat there going, no, I don't play video games outside of stream. What, play one video game to go play another one? That's stupid.
And I don't want to waste time with stuff that I know is something I don't like.
But you hold yourself with that. You hold yourself back and do shit like that, Phil.
Whether it's a bad game or a game that's a style that I just not, really enjoying or finding a way to like or make good content out of.
Phil, you can never make good content out of everything because you're bored playing it all the way through. So you're thinking that, oh, hey, people want me to play Chrono Trigger, people want me to play Grand Theft Auto 5, when nobody did, and nobody gives two shits about it. But no, you're just sitting there, not even going to go outside of your comfort zone to try out something new. And it just proves right there that you're so closed-minded when it comes to anything and everything that you're just going to do what you think is best when it really isn't. And bad games? You called every other game bad. You called Final Fantasy 16 bad for the dumbest of reasons.
There's plenty of valid games out there that are very enjoyable that I just don't enjoy.
Yeah, there are some games out there that are really good, but you just don't want to touch it because, oh, it costs money. Oh.
Or I just can't make enjoyable content out of.
Well, then again, you try to make content out of everything, but you think sitting there acting like a clown means making content when it really doesn't.
And that's fine, but I'm not going to waste my streaming time, the limited time I have with you guys every day, playing stuff that doesn't work for me. You
Phil, nothing works for you, but you're proclaiming that it does.
understand? Playing a game like this and saying, everyone just shut up, zip your lips, no one ever give me any advice on it whatsoever, is ridiculous.
Well, then again, you treat your audience like shit anyway. So you just saying that you want people to shut up, that's exactly what you want them to do. Either praise me or give me help or get the fuck out.
I'm an interactive streamer.
Well, shut the fuck up. You're not an interactive streamer at all. You just care about when people throw money at you or if someone's saying negative shit in your chat and you boot them out. That's the only time you ever fucking care about your audience.
For 6 years.
Yeah, for 6 years, and you came to a quote-unquote epiphany 6 years later that you're old.
Didn't change yesterday.
Well, then again, Phil, you keep constantly changing this, and you thinking that it's doing results when it really isn't.
It's been 6 years. Are you aware of this yet?
Well, no shit. I don't know how to count, Phil. I thought it was year 4.
Or have you just sat there with your fingers in your ear?
That's something that I say about you, Philip. Huh, so you don't watch my content, but yet you're the one that watches my content with the whole fingers in the ears thing. But Phil, that is you all the time.
Which is what you do. Because you sit there with your little hate-watching group like a bunch of fucking morons, and you
He could have said other words with it, but he doesn't want to get in trouble.
just talk to each other instead of looking at reality. Here's reality.
Well, Phil, you don't know anything about reality because you constantly distort it.
For 6 years, I've been an interactive streamer with support, with help in the games I play. I'm successful at it.
You're not really successful at it, or excuse me, successful at it.
I run a whole business doing it.
I thought this wasn't a business, Phil. I thought this was a passion.
People love the content so much, they support it, and I curate content specifically for that audience, as big or as small as it is.
Phil, they really don't like the content. The only people that like it are the 4 or 5 people that constantly wail you out, putting it on life support.
I don't need fucking hate watchers to come by and make demands on my playthroughs.
Well, Phil, you do it quite a lot. You do care about what your hate watchers say about you.
So if you don't like the way I'm playing Armored Core 6, fuck off and don't come back.
You hear that, DSP audience? If you don't like him playing Armored Core, fuck off. He doesn't want you here. He just wants to do his own thing and scam people out of money.
Because I don't need you here. I have plenty of positive people who like to come and watch my content. Do you
The 4 to 5 whales do not count, Phil. Now go sip your water and shut it.
understand?
Yep, sipping on his water. Oh, he cleared his throat while he was chewing on it.
So-
Wow.
After getting this feedback,
Now he's going back to that Twitter post. Now he's going back to this shit. And this took him like 10 minutes. Shit.
on Armored Core 6, I guess I kind of get it, alright?
You don't get anything about it, Phil. Like, go back for that.
After getting this feedback on Armored Core 6, I guess I...
Like, that right there. That fucking face when you're looking at the door. It's clear you don't get it. You don't get anything that people have said to you. Instead, you're looking and going, wow, what a fucking moron. Oh, you're doing great, Phil. Oh, I like that pose. Like.
I kind of get it, alright? And here's the thing. Knowing that this was a FromSoft game, I think maybe that's another major reason why I kind of know what it is and what to expect and that there will be.
Phil, you don't know jack shit of what's going to go down in Armored Core 6 because you've never played any of the Armored Core games. But you're saying that it's a FromSoft game. I know what to expect from it. You really don't.
Difficulty checks and things going on in the game, right? That will hold me up.
Even though you'll constantly look at your chat hoping that they give you some advice or tips, and you never really ask for it, but you claim that that's always a good thing.
But as long as I push forward positively, I don't give up and I persevere. And yes, every once in a while, I get a little bit of advice from my viewers.
I love how he has to say it like that. Like, that's kind of really annoying.
I persevere.
Like,
and
listen.
Yes, every once in a while.
Every once in a while, people tell me what to do, and they hold my hand. They probably hold it when I pee.
I get a little bit of advice from my viewers. I think that this will be a fine playthrough.
Phil, that's not a good thing, though, because you're not doing anything to challenge yourself. So, no, that's not a good thing.
Okay? So I get it. It's not that Baltius was a
I think it's Baltius, actually, not Baltius.
complete world-ending difficult boss. It's that this was the point of the game where you needed to have some knowledge in order to really tackle the boss. You couldn't steamroll the boss with your particular build that you built up and loved. You had to have something to negate the plasma.
Even though that you didn't know jack shit about it until someone told you about it, and then all of a sudden, oh, this is easy mode, when in reality, you didn't learn it on your own, you didn't experience the things of trial and error, and it's just overall becoming very stale and boring.
You had to know what was going to stagger that boss fast.
Even though he has no idea, unless his chat's there to hold his hand.
You definitely need to be able to follow the boss around quickly because he zooms all over the screen.
Again, I'm going to sound like a broken record. He would not know this until his chat comes in and hold his hand.
Now I get it, okay?
Now he gets it. Thanks, chat. Thanks for holding his hand.
So I'm okay with that, and now I'm glad.
Yeah, I love how he's like Twitter trolls debunked. What's there to debunk in the first place? All this proved is that Phil's still a fucking idiot.
I got the feedback I did. It's just a shame that people can't speak respectfully to others on the internet about it, because
Phil, the whole thing about respect, it is earned, not given. You've done nothing to earn respect. But instead, you're thinking that, oh, I've been around the fucking block. I should deserve to get respect. You need to give me your respect. It's like, Phil, you've done nothing to earn anybody's respect. What's there to not understand about respect?
The thing is, remember, respect begets respect. If people were respectful to me, I'd be respectful back to them.
Again, Phil, it is earned, not given. You're saying respect begets respect. You have no idea how to be respectful to other people because you proclaim to be better than everyone else. That is the problem with you.
That person who left that very intelligent comment.
Yeah, that one person that actually gave you some advice, which was probably a normal person looking into it.
About not being able to steamroll with one build. Thank you so much. That was a really nice comment, and it actually completely explained the situation, and I get it.
It's fiction. We made it up.
But to everyone who had to say something nasty and disgusting, fuck off, you're a bunch of losers.
See, thank you, post user, because we wouldn't have great content like this.
So there you go. All right, so that's what I think so far. Armored Core 6, I really like it. The more I play it,
yeah, he doesn't like it.
The more I like, the more builds we're trying and more things we're doing. It's just a good game. Story's lacking, and environments are not that good.
Even though the story is there and the environments, my God, does that deter you from liking the game? No, it shouldn't.
But outside of that, I like the combat, and that's what the game is based on.
Which you don't give a shit about the combat because you suck at this game, unless the chat is there to hold your hand.
I like the challenge, and I like the interactivity we're having during it.
Phil, the interaction with your chat with the game should not be a factor to if you like a game or not. Sorry to tell you that, but it's a bunch of bullshit.
Had a great time with it yesterday, okay? Now, I do want to say, yesterday was a very supportive stream of Armored Core 6. I know.
Yeah, thank you for giving me all that money, guys, because I made this whole point that I was dealing with back pain, and oh my God, you healed my back.
They're not going to all be like that, but I really appreciate those of you who did support yesterday's stream. That was really nice of you. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for giving me the money. Now, please give me more, or else I'm going to say my back is hurting again now and my legs are paralyzed. I could have gone further and done his Grand Theft Auto 5 and Street Fighter 6 stream, but with his quote-unquote podcast alone, there was just so much to unpack. You could just tell that Phil is losing his mind. When it comes to Armored Core 6, he's immediately going into detractors, his hate watchers, as he now coins the term, even though that term's been around for a while. He's wanting to put blame onto someone else. And yet, him going on Twitter and getting roasted somehow integrates with us as well. Again, Phil has lost his damn mind, and I just don't know how to handle it, honestly. He could say that a certain group of people are going to be circle groping each other, and it's all in all kind of a bad experience. But with that, the only thing I could say with it, though, is that Phil will not learn. He never will. And he'll just find ways to blame everything onto other people while being a negative shitbag. With that said, we will move on to the Phil prayer. Deliver us from the deads, deliver us from the pay pigs, deliver us from the pignosis. May we never become dented. May we never become a beggar like Darkside Phil, and for the love of God, may we never ever do Freudian slips like he just did. Because a Freudian slip can be funny, but if it's from your past, just don't do it. Amen.